Well, hello, my abundant healers. How are you this week? How are you on this Thursday, the day after hump day? We're going down the hill now, right? Yes, the weekend valley. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Brianna McWilliam. I'm an author, educator, Reiki practitioner, and creative arts therapist. And I've been in the helping and healing professions for over 13 years, and I am super excited and pumped to be here with you today because I want to tell you more about our branding challenge that is coming up at the end of this month, starting Monday, July 23rd. If you have not signed up yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Sign up now. Now, I want to just address one of these amazing questions that someone in our group brought up because it is so in line with what it is that we are exploring this month, and in particular, the last week of this month for our branding challenge. And so that question is, I want to help clients find me on the internet, possibly make a Facebook page, have a presence with what I do when someone is Googling for a therapist in my area, right? Oh, excellent question, and absolutely everything that I am thinking about and circling around this month. So happy with this question. Now, to my mind, therapists, coaches, and healers, we tend to get caught up in two things. And these two things tend to kind of shoot ourselves in the foot, if not bring our practices to a screeching halt. And the first one is we tend to think that the quality of our training, how good we are at what we do, is somehow a make or break factor. And secondly, we tend to think that if we build a digital platform that looks like everyone else in the digital neighborhood, like every other therapist, coach, and healer in our niche, then somehow we'll be more discoverable because people will, be attracted to the topic under that search term or something like that. Okay. Now, I think that that's kind of the wrong way to go. I believe that that is how you camouflage yourself. Okay. So let's dive more deeply into our first point, and then I'll come back to that. So the first point is that they think the quality of their training is somehow the make or break factor. I'm going to explain this with a metaphor. Okay. Now, I'm going to use one of my own personal experiences here. So I live in New York. I've lived in several different neighborhoods in New York, and I love Mexican food. I don't know about anybody else. Mexican food is my happy place. It's just, I must have a deep childhood memory, positive childhood memory associated with it, but I love Mexican food. So any neighborhood I move into, and I've moved probably at least 10 times in the 13 years that I've lived in New York City, to different neighborhoods, different boroughs. Everywhere I go, I try out whatever the 3, 4, 5 Mexican restaurants are in that 5-block radius of my house. And you can find that many in New York City. And so I usually intentionally go out and I try to find the best place to get Mexican food. Now, one thing I've noticed in my travels is that oftentimes you will find these joints that are just holes in the wall. They're kind of skeezy looking. The signs will have the fluorescent light will be burnt out in one section of the sign, and there'll be randomly some wooden plank or board in the window, but there's still actually a glass pane in the window, so you're not really sure what's going on there. And then there's like the grout in between the tile is dirty, and the tile itself doesn't match, and the color schemes don't go, and you're just kind of like, what are they doing? And then you go in, there's no seating, and the seating that they do have, the legs are wobbly, and it's just completely a mess. But then you order the tacos, or in my case, I prefer burritos, and it's the best food you have ever tasted. It is the most authentic, delicious food you have ever had in your life. And you're like, oh my God, why are there not lines out the door for this food? And then you walk a block down the street and you see Chipotle, or in some parts of the country, Qdoba. And there are lines down the block at noon every day, right? And they're just waiting to get their assembly line to put their burrito together, and off they go. Why is that? Right? Now, Chipotle's got a decent product, but what they have is a marketing strategy. What they have is a branding strategy. What they have is an identity, right? They have a logo. They have the construction of every single restaurant looks similar. They have a certain rhythm with the way they do things. Their workflow is set up. You know what you're getting every time you go there, right? But the broken down hole in the wall, their food is fabulous, but nobody would know it. And even if you told them the food is fabulous, they're like, yeah, but they don't have any atmosphere, right? That's the point I want to make, that when we focus so much on spending more money on training certificates and continuing education and getting another degree because we think that somehow that's going to buy us credibility and that somehow that is going to get us more money, more clients, more cash flow, more recognition in our field, and just quite literally in our digital presence online. Well, maybe if I add I'm certified in EMDR on there, or maybe if I add I'm a Reiki master on there, or maybe if I add that I'm this or I'm that, or I've had this and that training, then people will find me more attractive. And so you like type in a little line of text beneath your bio, which reads kind of like a cereal box. It reads like the ingredients on the back of a cereal box. I worked at so-and-so for this many years. Then I worked at so-and-so for this many years. And it's like, it tells your clients nothing about you. It tells them nothing about what their experience of you is going to be. Not of the service you provide necessarily. I mean, that's a part of it. And yes, the service you provide is important and that you have decent training in what you do. Yeah, all of that. Let's check those boxes. That's all baseline, right? But you could have like a gazillion certifications, and actually what ends up happening is you get watered down. People are like, well, yeah, they've got like EMDR training, but then like they've also got like 1,000 other things they're doing and specializing in. Like they're not really focused in on what my problem is. How much do they really know about it? Okay. Like, so, I mean, anyone can take a class or a 3-month training and then do nothing with it because they think they have to accept everyone and anyone into their practice because they're terrified of not making the money back on their investment. So they don't hone in. There's no discernment there. And, you know, that's when we start talking about soul clients. We start talking about the people you want to work with. And once you figure that out, then your marketing copy, everything falls into place. Your story, how you present yourself online, the colors you choose. I mean, everything. I'm going to talk more about that in our second point, which is people tend to think that if they build a digital platform that looks like every other therapist, coach, and healer in their niche, that's going to give them credibility. Right? We talked a little bit about this yesterday, where you open up your website, you put up your store sign, and then you kind of look around to make sure that like you fit in with the neighborhood decor, right? Well, if I look like a credible therapist, I probably have to look like this other person's website. So, and I'm not saying you can't steal like an artist, right? That's that expression, steal like an artist. Like you find the things that stand out to you and emulate them in your own way. Yes, not knocking that. But when you're like, oh, well, I need to look like a therapist who does this, right? Instead of just speaking from your soul and your most authentic self and what it is that you do and why it is that you do it in the way that's so uniquely you in your delivery, then you're just going to camouflage yourself and you're just going to blend in. Okay. Now, so let's take that metaphor a little bit further, right? So now just imagine, okay, so you've got the Chipotles with the lines out the door because it's quick, it's easy, there's a discernible workflow, you know what you're getting, you know what you expect every time you go there, right? So these are like the clients who come to you because they found you on an insurance website, right? This is maybe more for the therapists out there, but like they were like, well, I've got like Cigna insurance. So they go on the internet and they look up Cigna and they're like, I'll just call the first 3 that pop up on the referral line. Okay, so you're a Chipotle. Okay, now that might get you some business. It's not going to get you loyal followers, right? It's not going to get you people who necessarily show up for the transformational processes who are like there, ready, committed, wanting to go, investing in themselves, no matter what it costs, right? So how do you find that happy marriage between, oh my God, I am the restaurant that has the most delicious, succulent, desirous burrito, and I've got all of this amazing clout and publicity and, context and branding that like a store like Chipotle has. How do I get those lines with that kind of quality, right? And to my mind, the answer is really in your branding. There's actually more than that, but to start with, you can start with your branding because that's going to help you build a cohesive message. Your branding actually shows clients how to interact with you. It shows clients how to engage with you. It shows clients and gives clients a feel for what the experience is of working with you. Not the experience of therapy in general, not the experience of, love and intimacy coaching, not the experience of energy healing, the experience of having this transformational processes with you in the way that you have designed it, in the way that you in your own experience have explored and cultivated that over time and over practice, because you have honed in on your soul clients and you know who you want to work with and what it is that you want to do, because that stems from your soul purpose, right? So how do you communicate that in the 3 seconds you have when someone is searching on Google, right? Or lands on your homepage? How do you communicate that? You've got 3 seconds at most. It's probably more like 1 or 2, right? To put something on there, some text, some image, some copy, some colors, some kind of design that is going to capture them in the 2 to 3 seconds that you have to really capture someone's, not just like intellectual curiosity, but their heart, right? You want to capture someone's heart, something that resonates with them emotionally, because if you're here in this group, you're interested in tapping into transformational processes. You're interested in being a facilitator of those things. And it's most likely because you have had some kind of positive experience with whatever it is that you're offering people, right? So why, when it comes to really putting ourselves out there and being visible and wanting to share that with the world, why do we then cover ourselves up? Why do we camouflage ourselves? Why do we then feel like we have to fit in, when what makes you so unique and special is what's going to make you stand out, right? So if, and there are other reasons why we might struggle with that. We might be allergic to money conversations, right? We might struggle with honoring our fees, or we're suffering with tech overwhelm. You might be like, yeah, I get what you're saying, Brianna, but like, I don't know how to translate that into online, right? Or, even I've tried that. I paid a designer. They made a big website for me, and no one signs up for my mailing list, right? Things like that. So there are certain ways that we can touch upon and tackle your branding that makes it much more personalized and also engages clients. All right. So with our branding challenge, we are going to do 5 things. The first thing is we're going to discover your voice and your story angle. Okay, so we're going to dig into your story and how we can angle that in such a way that it's going to appeal to people on an archetypal level. And we're also going to talk about how you write that story. What is the tone and the feel that you want to express through your branding? Okay. The second thing we're going to talk about are soul clients. And you've probably heard me talk about that several times before. Soul clients are clients that you are meant to work with. And in my definition, they're actually people that you come together with for the purposes of some aspect of your spiritual ascension. Okay. And in order to call in soul clients, you have to practice discernment. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. And actually in that lesson, we're going to do a guided visualization and exercise. So you definitely want to come up, because we're going to explore how to marry spiritual practices with business practices. Okay. Now on day 3, that is probably going to be our most lengthy and fun lesson, which is we are going to build your own personal style guide. All right. And that means we're going to pick out colors, font styles, and we're going to look at images and photos. How do you decide what photos to use? Where should your photos be? What poses should you be selecting? What about your wardrobe? Inside or outside? Studio shots? What shots do you absolutely need to get? What about hiring a photographer? What should I know in that sense, right? So I absolutely recommend that you come and join us, because day 3 is going to be amazing. You're going to walk away with a personalized style guide, so that even if you want to hand off your vision you want someone to give it to someone else to do the heavy lifting, like a web developer, a designer, or whatever, you're going to hand them your style guide, and they will know precisely and exactly what your vision is, because you want to be in charge of this. Okay. Now on day 4, we're going to take a look at how to expand your brand across social media platforms and how to repurpose your content so you can develop a consistent workflow. So you're not generating new content all the time, trying to keep up with all these overwhelming social media sites, right? It doesn't have to be that hard. Okay. You just repurpose the content you have. And then the last day, we're going to bring it all together, and I'm going to be giving you some free consultations and advice. So on the last day, I'm going to ask that you post your websites underneath the day's meme. And then for our live call, I'm going to go through and look at all of your websites and give you some personalized feedback. So definitely sign up for our branding challenge. This is going to be such a great event. And again, all of this content is going to be turned into a paid course. So this content is good content. I am using this challenge as a way to really bang it all out in a short amount of time so that I can get it up and running, and I'm going to be selling it as a course. So you guys are kind of like my betas, right? So you want to make sure you jump on this now. So sign up for our branding challenge, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday at noon on my Facebook page for our day one, which is, again, story angle and your unique voice. And I will see you there.